Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the ride. Once again, it is your host. I am your host, Mr. TNTBS, CJ Jones of Elephant Exposed. And I got my co-host, Mr. Duane Stinson. Yes, sir. What's going on? Say hello to the peoples, my brother.
What's up, peoples? We about to unveil some elephants for y'all tonight.
Oh,
How
yes,
we do it, how we always do it.
definitely. So speaking of today's elephant, um, we are both fans and watchers, subscribers of the television, I'm sorry, the podcast show of Dr. Richie's Undisputed, I think, but he has other shows that he hosts as well. And he also give updates to all of his shows whenever they follow different stories. So one particular update that, excuse me, guys, that he was sharing with his viewers was one of the Karenicity videos. The one whenever Terrell Owens had came across a Karen. So I do want to leave a with a teaser out there on purpose, a cliffhanger, because I want to uh let Dr. Richie lead us into the video, and then we'll pause it, we'll talk about it and things like that, and see if we have drawn some like conclusions. Without further ado, here we go.
Remember the Karen that went toe to toe with Terrell Owens and then ended up lying? Well, that Karen has been charged with a misdemeanor. Let me remind you of the initial issue. Here it is.
I'm good. What's up, sir?
Not much. What's going on, folks?
I'm driving to my mailbox. She telling me I'm speeding, telling me to slow down.
Slow down, and he rolled down his window and he started harassing.
First of all, I didn't harass you. She telling me to slow down. I said, what do you mean slow down? I said, yo, I'm just going to the mailbox. And then she goes, get the out the middle of the road.
Across the street and you almost hit me.
First of all, I almost hit you. Now you just making up stuff.
No, I literally
just like a Karen.
You almost hit me.
How did I almost hit you? And I'm going to the mailbox.
I was a Karen.
Yeah, I'd call you a Karen when I came over here after you said I called the police. Absolutely. Then you went on to say, oh, I'm the subject of the HOA meeting, this and that and the other. I got liens on my house, this and that and the other. Then you start bringing up my status, who I was, my HBO, my VH1. You the one brought it up, lady. I did it. You did it. You did.
Now, right there, it may not be as clear to our audience as we can hear it, but right there from the very start, you can hear the over talking, the profanity,
the entitlement.
You can hear the entitlement and everything. Right? She's not denying at all, number one, that she's absolutely instigated this whole entire situation. Okay. If she just would have mind her own business, like we say back in the day, if you would have just kept yourself to yourself, you would have had a smooth night. But see, the thing with these Karens is that they think that they own and control the world. Everything is centered around them. And if they send out a proclamation and it automatically goes into the atmosphere and it becomes law, and when someone shows them the contradiction of their proclamation or react in a way that is not submissive to their demands or commands, then now there's an issue. And especially when they're dealing with someone that lets them know in so many words, you're just bumping your gums. Because who are you to try to tell me, a grown person, that you, or what makes you think you have some type of control over me to do whatever? It's going to go into more detail, But I'm just saying, like, even right there, with just within these few moments, you can already hear the Karenicity, the entitlement, the privilege that this woman just automatically thinks that she has. She's already over talking. She's already using foul language. And
you need to patent that word Karenicity before somebody else get it. Put it on a t-shirt.
Actually, it's actually gonna be the title of this show, When Karenicity Goes Wrong. That's exactly how I'm titling this show. When Karenicity, I know Karenicity is not a word.
But then she started lying.
I know that.
But then she started lying. When she
right out the gate. Look, she didn't know where she was. She didn't know if she was in the middle of the street or where he was and everything else. So you did catch that.
Yeah. He said,
how can you run somebody over?
How can I almost hit you when I was going to the mailbox?
Boom. So, and then mind you, when he shows the video of where she's at, and what I'm gonna react to that when he actually turns the video around. He actually shows where everybody is. Okay, so let's ride.
Hey, folks. First of all, I didn't almost hit her. Sir, no, I'm fine, sir. First of all, I didn't almost hit her.
I understand that. Just relax.
I'm not finna sit up here.
He ran the stop sign.
Well, there is no stop sign. What are you talking about?
So now she knows what he did.
Wow.
I wasn't, but I asked him to slow down, and he got out of his car and started harassing me.
Asked him to slow down.
Right, because you're gonna yell at me and telling me I'm almost hit you, and I didn't.
But you didn't have to get out of your car.
You didn't.
Whoa, right there. Now when she said, I asked him to slow down, but then when he corrected her immediately and said, because you yelled at me, she didn't deny it. She owned it in the sense by saying, but you got out your effing car.
Right. And now her voice starting to crackle like she's about to start crying.
Oh, let's hear it.
You don't have to talk to me that way either, Karen.
You're a black man approaching a white woman.
First of all, you had your boy right here, your husband right here. So first of all, I don't do that type of stuff.
Relax.
You did. You put your car in park and you came at me.
First of all, I didn't come at you.
Yes, you did.
You can stop all of that, Karen.
Listen, if you guys want me here, I can solve it.
Here we go.
He literally came after me.
Here she crying. There's Karen. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Swear to God, I've never been a part of nothing like this. Her husband tried to tell her to go in the house, but no, she wanted to do the whole Karen thing. So I'm gonna be here with my camera to show everything.
Yes, sir.
First of all, you need to stop that.
You were speeding through the neighborhood.
It was not. I was in the garage. You're lying now because I was sitting in the garage.
She's been charged with a misdemeanor with her lying ass. Put up the picture, please. So this particular Karen said a few things. She said, you're a black man approaching a white woman. Whoa, wait a minute.
What?
I mean, she utilized black man as if she means you are a wild beast. You are a monstrous criminal. I mean, what does that have to do with your tears, madam? He's an African-American male. He can legally be that.
Right.
Also, she said she was harassed by Mr. Owens. She also indicated, according to the narrative, that the HOA has issues with Mr. Owens. She said he had the audacity to put his car in park. Okay. Let me give you the background. Court records show that Caitlin Davis was hit with a second-degree misdemeanor charge for false reports.
Yes.
Yep. False reports. Because all those lies she told. This is how you deal with Karenicity.
That's how you
I've said this before. For everyone who has one of those Karen moments and the police are called and you say, oh, you know what? I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to forgive what happened here. But Karen, I hope you learned a lesson. No way. They have learned a damn thing. You're going to have to go ahead and file it.
I'm going to pause Doc right here. He said something, but I'm going to take it just a little further than what he did. You can forgive still. You will always and should always be held accountable.
Right.
That is the basis of our show.
Right.
Being held accountable for your actions. That is the elephant.
Right.
That is the foundation of
the
elephant.
the forgiving part is for you. It's not for them.
Go ahead on.
You forgive them because you don't want, you know what I'm saying? You have to do that for yourself. But the accountability part is for them. They need to learn a lesson.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So please let's not get that twisted, viewers. If it's within you to forgive, yes, forgive. Okay? Because that's a release for yourself. Okay? You're not excusing the behavior. No. Think about how you would be raising your child or something like that. That's the first thing I think about is raising children, because it's an easy comparison there. You hold your children accountable for the things that they do. This is how they learn. That was worth the butt whooping. That wasn't. That was worth the punishment. That wasn't. Whatever it was, because you were holding that child accountable, whatever that child did. It doesn't change, ladies and gentlemen. As we get older, we become even more responsible. Or at least that's what, I'm sorry, I ventured off into the world of could have, should have, and would have and stuff. But yes, you should be at the level of maturity to where you would be handling your decisions or handling the repercussions of your decisions more gracefully and more mature, because of your earlier life's experiences have led you and guide you throughout your dealings with having to deal with life, whether it was good or bad. My wife and I was going over this word that people like to cringe up from, consequences. Just because you hear the word consequence does not mean that it is necessarily a negative thing. We've always kind of coupled that word. Consequences means something that I did bad. But no, the consequences of anything is just the result of a decision that you made. So the consequences to you studying real hard, the consequences of that is that you have a good grade, you have a passing grade, you have an outstanding grade, you have a perfect grade. Okay. So just because you hear the word consequences, it does not mean that it's necessarily negative. That's just like critiques and everything else. For some reason, we as a society, we just tend to do stuff like that. But let's go ahead and let this thing roll, okay? And let's hear what the good doctor says.
Police report, you're gonna have to show the court, you gotta prosecute for the extent of the law.
Yeah.
All right? You are not doing the society a favor unless you prosecute Karenicity. I'm telling you now, it will come back. The only thing I've seen these Karens respect on some level is when they get those handcuffs around their wrist. So according to documents, authorities say that she knowingly gave false information to a law enforcement officer about the spat. Records show she's due in court in December for a hearing. We will be there.
Merry Christmas.
If convicted, she's facing jail time. All right. Now, when I say we will be there, we will make sure we report and give you the update. Owens would speak to Cuomo about the Karen being charged. Here it is.
Now she's charged. Do you like that she is charged? Do you want to prosecute her?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if the roles were reversed, obviously they would be going to the full extent of the law to charge me. So again, it's not about me. I just think about others that may have been in this situation and that they didn't, like I said, have the status or just the wherewithal to do what I did. Like I said, it could have been obviously gravely different. And so again, I want to be able to use this platform, obviously, to kind of shed light on really what goes on. Like I said, it doesn't matter what type of neighborhood you're in. This is the reality of the life of a Black individual or a Black American.
And there it is.
Whoa, he couldn't have said that any better.
Now, damn it, that's how you do it.
I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. Bruh, take a moment. Let me take a moment.
You know what? I will say I don't know too much about Terrell Owens, but he really surprised me with that. I mean, that was very well spoken, articulate. He did the right thing. He didn't back down like, I don't think I want to prosecute, because he did it for others, not for himself. Because he could have easily said, I proved my point. She getting charged, maybe she learned a lesson, whatever. I'm still rich, whatever. But he put others in his place.
Exactly.
Because to tell you the truth, if the shoe was on the other foot and it was me and you and the police was called, it might have went terribly wrong.
Way wrong.
Because, maybe they wouldn't have been. It looked like, was that officer black? It seemed like it was.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell anything else. But here's the thing, because Dr. Ritchie, like I said, like towards the very end of his commentation, he noticed same thing that I noticed. And it's just simply because, when we do these things, you kind of pick up on it. And of course you can, how my good friend Brian Parker would say, you can Monday night quarterback this thing all day, because you got the power of going back and rewinding and looking at, I would have said this, I would have done this. So anyway, so Dr. Ritchie did notice, and so did I, that the officer only addressed Terrell whenever it came to calm down. Terrell was cool. He was cool the whole entire time. He wasn't irate. Now, I'm gonna tell you what you don't want is for someone like Terrell's size and athletic abilities and everything. That's who you don't want riled up. Because let me tell you,
that's a big boy.
He ain't no small guy.
No.
He ain't no small guy. So you want him cool, calm, collected, articulate, the whole nine. Because when he stays there, then we can start getting ducks in a row to hold people accountable for their actions, which is what they're supposed to do. Why? Because if you're
you notice her husband didn't want no parts of it. I ain't hear her husband's voice nowhere.
Bruh, could you? Listen, I'm gonna see. I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna try to see if I can bring up the part in the video where when Terrell turns the video around and he shows where he is, the officer, where she was standing, and then her husband was over there. Because later in that video, I don't know if I had skipped past it or not, but another witness to that little spat actually called the Karen out even further on her lies. She started just reaching out. She just started pulling lies out of the sky, so to speak. Now he's in the middle of the road. She about ran him over. He ran a stop sign. He's black. She's white. Listen, if you know anything about these gated neighborhoods, okay, and no, there ain't nothing wrong with being in the gated neighborhoods, okay? There ain't nothing wrong with that. I would like to be in the gated neighborhood.
Me too.
But if you know anything about them, I used to police in them. That's how I actually started out in policing whenever I became municipally certified to be a police officer before I even went into the Navy. I was a special police officer for a gated community. So how they're set up is that special police officers are full-fledged municipal police officers, just that their jurisdiction ends at the gate. That's the only difference between them and like your local city police or your county sheriffs or whatever the case may be. They are specific in their jurisdiction. They don't have a large jurisdiction. Okay, so wherever they are contracted to be, then that's what that's what they are. But they are full-fledged police officers. Now, with that being said, if you know anything about these suburban areas, not only are those streets are massively wide, okay, the road themselves are massively wide. That's for entry and exiting lanes. Okay, you have about a probably like a 4-foot span of sidewalk. Okay, notice that the female, our Karen, was on a beach cruiser. Notice the time of day that all this happened. Oh yeah, we gonna break this thing down. The sun is down, street lights are on. Now, if you are so concerned about being safety and not about safety and about being ran over, why do you have, number one, you know, so since we living in this day and age of everybody wants to be safe and why you don't have any protective gear on? Your clothing, why they are not reflective gear? Okay. 2, why are you in the street when you clearly have a very ample sidewalk that you can walk, run, your children can play on this side, because that's how wide it is. And it goes all the way from wherever you live at, it's throughout the whole entire neighborhood. Okay, these are their sidewalks. Okay, when I tell you, in those kind of neighborhoods, they lack for nothing when it comes to space. So for you to even just on that complaint alone, we can shoot that. That's easy target practice. So for her to sit up there and try to use just excuses, just to offer her just being rude and trying to use her entitlement as a thing to be like, I'm a white woman, I yelled at this black man just because I wanted to. And basically what it really was, is that she was just mad that when her white self was not obeyed, yelling at this black man, and he did not do what she wanted him to do for however and whatever that was on her mind, whatever she was feeling, and it didn't work out. And then with her own ego, she just had to keep the ball rolling, even though she didn't pick up any context clues from her husband. You didn't even know her husband was there until Terrell had turned the camera around.
Right.
And even then, he was kind of like almost whispering, like
I feel like her husband knows how she is.
Oh
He's
yeah,
sick of
that's why you didn't really hear him. 9 times out of 10, when you got Karens like that, 9 times out of 10, that man is, and I'm not saying that he's a wimp, but he understands image. I'll say it like that, because he may or may not be passive. Because who's to say that he won't pull an eye turner behind closed doors? But, so he may come across as passive, you know, because it's public and they are truly, people like that are really about image. But, you know, we shall see.
You know what? I got to give kudos to the officer, though, because I felt like the officer, even though he was trying to calm Terrell Owens, and he probably should have addressed both of them, the way he handled it really made a big difference in how this thing turned out. Because he could have been one of them good old boys that just came on the scene, saw Terrell Owens was, I think Terrell Owens like 6'3", 220, 230.
Yeah.
And if he didn't recognize who Terrell Owens was, you know, and Terrell Owens didn't seem like he was backing down either. He wasn't being loud, but he was also saying, look, he was standing his ground like, hey, I'm not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But the officer seemed like he was at least neutral. You know what I'm saying?
Well, after a while, he seemed that way. But anyway, we want to pose this to our audience. We want to pose to our audience, what do they think about the outcome or the soon to be outcome of Miss Karen, and what are their thoughts on it. And y'all heard our perspectives and what we got out of the video. We hope that we've brought a little laughter to what could have been potentially could have been a serious situation, but everything remained copacetic. And so, what do you guys think? And if you want to, and let us know if you want for us to do more videos like this, or just keep this elephant going, and we continue to expose injustices the way that they come. Because let me tell you, there is no lack in it. There is no lack. Whether it's local or the states next door or whatever the case may be, the whole principle of Elephant Exposed is to keep those people exposed to where they are held accountable, and where they cannot hide from actual justice itself. So with that being said, guys, we're going to say good night. I want to thank my host, Mr. Duane Stinson, for hanging in there and just giving us a good, successful show, as you always do, sir. And we're going to catch y'all later. You guys be good, stay safe, and always continue. Let's keep these cameras rolling, because that is the real, that's the real winner there. Okay, is that when these cameras are rolling, that is what's causing these people to be held accountable. Okay, guys, so good night, y'all.
Peace.